So what I found interesting with YouTube is that a lot of people don't really watch videos in full. In fact, a lot of them exist in this like chamber of gratification, instant gratification, where they click on a video, they watch it for under 30 seconds and they click on something else. And their entire like day or hours spent on YouTube or other social media platforms that engage in longer form content revolve around just sort of flea jumping from one piece of content to another. If you're watching this for more than 30 seconds, I commend you, because most people just leave like immediately. And that's a problem if you're trying to grow a company. And I'm going to explain why you need to fix this. And if you fix this, things will in business be significantly easier for you. It's a little mindset strategy. You know, we talk a lot about mindset on this channel. This has worked incredibly well for me. And ever since I started implementing this idea, things got really straightforward and everything seemed to click into place a bit easier, and I'm hoping I can help you understand it. So my name's Charlie Morgan. I have built and scaled 2 companies, marketing agency that we got to 7 figures and eventually sold, and a coaching business that we've got to multi-7 figures and still currently run. So what's this thing? It's about attention span, right? Every action you take when it comes to consuming content or really doing anything at all can lead to you reinforcing one of 2 neural patterns in your brain. So every time you take an action, you've got to remember it kind of like burns a line in your brain. And it kind of like, you want to imagine that your brain, is a weird metaphor, is like thousands of little strings, right? Little strings is basically what your brain looks like. And every time you take a certain action, like in a certain way, and the output of your behavior manifests in a certain specific way, though one of those strings gets a little bit thicker. And if you do it again, a little bit thicker again, a little bit thicker again. And what happens is these strings create feedback loops where the thicker the string, the more likely you are to behave in that way to re-thicken the string. It's gonna sound weird, but let me explain how this works. Attention span is the greatest asset of any entrepreneur, because attention span by its very nature really creates focus. And focus is probably the most important thing that you could possibly have anywhere at any given point in time as a business owner at all. It's kind of what Warren Buffett and Bill Gates said was like the most important thing. Like, describe your success in one word. They were like, focus. The problem presents itself when you're interacting with and consuming content on channels that don't lend well to a good attention span. But you still want to use those channels like YouTube and these platforms because they do add value and they do create a positive change in your life. But we need to understand how to navigate these platforms so that they don't destroy our attention spans and basically ruin our ability to make money and have more fun in our businesses. I used to have this real bad where, and I've created a rule, I'm going to share this rule with you and it's going to help you. I used to have this real bad where I'd go on my YouTube home feed and then I'd be like, okay. And then I'd click a video and then I'd probably open like 3 or 4 other tabs because I wanted to watch some other ones because YouTube knew me so well. And then I'd go into one video and then after like a minute I'd get bored and I'd look at the up next and I'd click something else, and like, it would be so like chaotic, and it's just an instant gratification thing. But recently what I've done is I've introduced a rule. This hasn't been so much of a problem for me anymore, but I still do use YouTube because it's a platform that I enjoy producing content for and consuming content on. And you know, I do find value in it, but like I've created a rule for myself recently where if I click on a YouTube video, right, in the home screen or recommended, I have to watch the whole thing. And I've implemented this over the last week. I don't really use YouTube as much as I used to, but I started to notice it became a little bit of a problem again. So I thought, what rule can I implement to prevent this from happening? And I've got this thing in my head. So when I'm looking at my newsfeed, I'm like, when I'm looking at my homepage for the YouTube videos, I'm like actually thinking like, which video do I actually want to watch, right? So when you actually impose this constraint of if I click a video, I have to watch the whole thing, what it does is like it creates this thought barrier between you actually acting and you actually deciding you want to act. Because most people's behavior on YouTube or other platforms like YouTube is so unconscious. It's kind of like, you know, you just click the video and then you'll receive the dopamine, okay, next, dopamine, next. And you just become this sort of like slot machine for dopamine, basically, which is what most people are these days. But when you actually say, if I click it, I have to watch the whole thing, over time, you will train your brain to complete and finish things and make decisions based on what you need and what you want. And as soon as I started doing this, I became, for some reason, 10 times more consciously and cognitively aware of the bullshit YouTube was actually showing me, right? So like if I actually open YouTube right now, right, on my homepage, I will find videos on a number of topics. The first one is a short called Chad Meets Giga Chad. And then there's some videos from business people. And then there's some like bunch of shorts, and then something on Australia's insane plan to green the outback. Like on this page, like if I show you it, I don't know if you can see this because it'll be flipped, but you know, we've got some Alex Hormozy, and then we've got some Call of Duty, and then for whatever reason a RuneScape video, and then there's a short, and then another short about GeoGuessr, and then Australia, and then a Japanese voice actor pronouncing Earth. Like, if you look at this, like, I don't know what yours looks like, but you'll probably find, like, if you go to your YouTube homepage and actually look at what's on there, you'll be like, what the fuck is this? And so, like, now that I've imposed a constraint, if I click it, I have to watch it in full, I'm way more selective with the videos that I actually consume. And it's a twofold thing, because A, it makes you more aware of your decisions, and it actually helps you make decisions that are more conducive to actually getting what you want in life. But the second thing I found is the impact it has is it thickens the string of actually finishing things, right? So remember what I said about the strings at the beginning, like you can have like a thin string or a thick string. The thicker the string, the more likely you are to keep thickening the string and do the same thing. Like behavior is basically like biological, neurological, and it manifests and then it reinforces itself through burning itself into your brain, basically. It's not biologically like correct, but you get the point, right? The more you do something, the more you're going to do it. So now when I'm watching a YouTube video, I finish it. And then when I finish it, I can go back and I can watch another YouTube video. And I can only pick one, so I won't have multiple tabs open at any given time. And it's a great way for this sort of like takes itself into my business. Because now in business, right, if I'm going to do something, I have to finish it. So if I've got a list of things that I could do, shiny objects and different things that might give me different levels of dopamine, I'm training myself on YouTube to be more selective with my tasks and to-do list in business. And when I start something, I'm actually going to finish it. Now, there's a rule to this and an exception. If I click on a YouTube video and it turns out to be dog shit and I hate it and I don't want to keep watching it, then I don't have to. Similar to in business, let's say I started doing something and learned that halfway through doing it that there was something better that I could do that would lead to a better business result if I stopped doing what I was currently doing. Then obviously I'd drop it. So sometimes it doesn't make sense to always finish things. But I've been doing this on YouTube. And I've also been doing this on Spotify, and I've been doing it on Netflix as well. So with Spotify now, if I start a song, I have to finish the song. And I learned this little trick from Sam Ovens, with his mastermind. I've learned a lot from him. But like now, if I start a song, I have to finish it. And I'm training my brain. Like the best way to get practice in business and to get business results is focus on these little things in your personal life. And if you finish every single YouTube video you ever click on and watch, if you finish every single song you ever listen to, if you finish every single podcast episode you ever consume, if you finish every book you open and start reading, like what will happen is the string in your mind of finishing things will thicken. And what that means is that when you start behaving in business, the manifestation of your actions will be in accordance to the thick string of finishing things, which means that when you start a project or you commit to doing something in business because it's the right decision, because you're also training your decision-making ability, like which song do I actually want to listen to? You become more aware of your unconscious when you do this. But in business, it's really helpful because it makes you more productive. It means you actually stick to your word. You're more appropriate to stick to deadlines and such. And I found this to be a wonderful, wonderful little trick to help me make more money and grow and make huge amounts of progress in my company, because attention is an incredibly useful, a long attention span is a very incredibly useful skill, right? Not many people have that skill. A lot of people struggle to pay attention and concentrate and focus. And a lot of people struggle to finish things. How many times have you bought a book and started it only to stop, right? How many times have you got 3/4 of the way through a podcast and stopped? How many YouTube videos, God knows how many you've clicked on and then stopped. Like, you want to neurologically, biologically, and psychologically, emotionally commit to doing one thing at a time and finishing that thing and then coming back to something else. So for example, with YouTube, I'll never have more than one video on the go. And then like, what that means is like some people like, well, they'll start one video and be like, oh, I'll finish that in a minute. I'm going to start this video. And like, when you start doing that everywhere in your life, like I'm going to listen to that song, I'm halfway through it, I'm going to change to the next one. Oh, I want to listen to that again. I'm going to rewind the drop. Like you start to do that in your work, and that method of behavior, that way of actually acting, it is not very conducive to strong business results and good tangents of progress in life. So I wanted to share this with you because it's a little thing that I've been doing and it's massively helped me. It might not work for you because I can only talk from experience, but biologically, neurologically, I know this is the way to do it and the right way to do it. Unless, of course, you want all of your actions in business to be scattered and half complete. We can kind of focus on inverting that if we want to, but you know, you kind of get the point. So yeah, that's the video. If you enjoyed it, please do comment any other videos you want me to make. Subscribe and like as well. If you have any ideas for future videos, just let me know. If you are making more than six figures or more with a high ticket agency or coaching business, then just click the first link in the description if you want to grow and scale. You don't have to click it, it's a landing page. It's going to try and get you to book a call, right? It's no bullshit. If you're not at six figures yet, just keep watching the videos until you are. And when you are, let us know. But that's everything from me. And I'll see you in the next video. I hope you have a good day. Thanks for watching.